The story I will tell you is The Christmas Candle by Richard Paul Evans. On a snowy Christmas Eve, a young man made his way along a dark and deserted cobblestone street. His name was Thomas. He was wrapped in a woolen cloak. He had a knapsack flung over his back. He was carrying a tin lantern, a tin candle lantern with glass panes, and inside it was a totally spent candle. He looked up and saw candlelight coming from the chandler's shop, the village candle maker, and so he quickened his steps and he moved down a stone path covered with snow. In front of him was a beggar holding out a cup with some coins that he was shaking. Thomas ignored the beggar, pushed past him, and went into the shop. Inside the shop, there were pots full of tallow and beeswax hanging from a stone hearth. And the candle maker was there holding his sculpting tools, surrounded by the things of beauty that he had made out of wax. "Oh, I'm glad to find you open," said Thomas. "The town is almost deserted tonight." The old man watched Thomas as he glanced at all the things, the rows of kinds of candles. There were sprites and fairies. There were angels with see-through wings. There was a fragile princess with a gown as delicate as lace. And they smelled of myrrh and frankincense and meadow flowers. "Huh, what a foolish old man. You make things that will soon devour themselves. How long before a flame turns this angel into a clump of wax?" And then Thomas saw some simpler candles. "It is just light that I need. These will do me nicely. I'll take one of those." And the old man looked intently at Thomas and said, "The Christmas candles are of no good to you." Thomas was taken aback by this stern response. I will do well not to stumble in the dark, dear sir. Are you trying to play me? I will not pay you more than this is worth." "It only costs 4 coppers, said the candlemaker, "but you may find it costly." The candlemaker's words were strangely serious. "I have money," said Thomas. "Give me the candle. It is late, and my family is waiting for me. It is illumination that I need." "Oh," said the candlemaker, "so it is illumination that you desire." "Indeed, that's what I need," said Thomas. "So you do," said the candlemaker. And so the candlemaker took one of those candles and he dipped the base of it over a flame, held it over a flame for a moment, and then fastened it into Thomas's lantern. Thomas put his pennies on the counter and then headed towards the door. And the candlemaker's lips pursed into an amused smile and said, "Merry Christmas, my brother." Thomas was taken aback by this farewell. He was caught by surprise, and he stammered, "Oh, to you as well." And then he went out into the dark night with the tin lantern and the Christmas candle to light his way. He went just a ways until he was passing an alleyway, and a shadow moved in that alleyway. It startled him. A robber, he thought. He held up his lantern. "Who's there?" he said. And the light of the lantern just revealed a frail woman huddled against the cold. And she held out her hand. "Sir, a pence, please?" Thomas looked at the beggar with contempt. But then as he held the light of his lantern up he saw that he knew that face. He gasped. It was his own mother. Mother, what are you doing here? Why do you appear to me as a beggar? What kind of prank is this? The woman stared back at him. Just a pence, please, sir. Where are my brothers? Where is my sister? You'll catch a chill out on a night like this, mother. He took the cloak off of his back. Here, take my cloak. And the woman approached cautiously and snatched the cloak from his hand and then moved back into the shadow. And as she went away from the light of that lantern, her appearance changed. And Thomas saw that it was not his mother. It was a beggar indeed. And she was holding Thomas's cloak, and then she disappeared into the darkness. And Thomas, what kind of trick is this, he thought. He held his arms around his chest. Now it is I who will catch a chill. And he continued on his way. Not much further, he came to underneath an awning of a darkened inn, and the light of the lantern revealed another form lying in a gutter. And again, Thomas gasped. Has the universe gone mad? Alan, my brother, are you sick? Thomas set the lantern down on the curb. He took the limp arm of his brother, put it around his shoulder, and tried to pick him up. I cannot carry you, Alan. He went to the door of the inn and he pounded on it. A grim-faced woman opened the door. My brother is sick. I'm afraid he'll freeze out here before I can come back for him. Can I bring him inside? The woman looked suspiciously at them. For the price of a night's lodging, a shilling, she said. A shilling, 12 pence. He checked. All I have is a 6 pence, he said. She began to shut the door. Wait. My knapsack, it's worth more than a shilling. It has freshly tailored trousers in it. You can have the money, the knapsack, you can have it all. The woman looked at the bundle and then held out her fat hand. Thomas flung the backpack from his back and handed it to her. She took it and opened the door and says, bring him in. Thomas dragged his brother into the foyer. And then in the light of the foyer, he looked again at the man's face and he gaped. So it is your brother who's lying in my gutter, said the old woman. It's not my brother, said Thomas. You are mad, said the innkeeper, and she pushed him out the door. Thomas went back to the curb, picked up that lantern and looked at it. There is something strange about your light. Well, Thomas got to where he could see the brightly burning lights of home. And then there appeared before him a child, a girl, shivering in the cold. And she looked up at him and said, do you have anything to eat, sir? Thomas felt something grab in his chest. He started to hold up the lantern, but then he put it back down. He would not let it shine on her face. He had begun to guess its trick. And what could he do for this poor child? He had given away his knapsack, his money. I have nothing, he said. And he moved past her, and he willed himself not to look back. And finally, he came through the door of his own home into the foyer, and he was greeted joyfully by his mother. Thomas, you're home. Good to have you here tonight on this Christmas Eve. And his brothers and his sister heard the commotion, and they came and they all greeted one another with hugs. and joyful voices. And when the joviality began to settle down, his mother looked strangely at Thomas and said, "Thomas, where's your cloak?" And then Alan said, and brother, are you traveling tonight without a pack?" And Thomas looked at them and said, "I gave it all away." "You gave it all away? To who?" And Thomas now looked again at the light of his Christmas candle, which was beginning to wane a bit. The old man spoke truthfully. "You are costly, but also of great worth." "What riddle is this?" his little sister wanted to know. "What old man?" "Oh, an old man who sculpts candles," said Thomas. And as he looked down at his sister's bright face, suddenly in his mind, that face changed into a poor child shivering in the cold. And he looked at the dinner table, all set for a sumptuous banquet. And then he knew what he would do. He turned to go back outside the door. And his sister said, "Where are you going, Thomas?" Thomas looked at her and said, "I must go to find another member of our family and bring her to the feast." And as Thomas left the warm and fragrant house, going back into the cold night, his heart was warm with joy. For on this Christmas Eve, a lesson was learned and taken to heart. That if we see things as they truly are, we will see that all, great and small, are one family. And this truth, which has been known from the beginning of time, is perhaps best seen in the joyous illumination of Christmas.